Hi, Stephen Watson, Someday Farm, here in Connecticut, and in the library and apothecary for the studio here. You can probably hear the sound of the spring peepers, frogs outside. It's evening. There's a colleague of mine with a student teenager wrestling with pretty severe life issues. I'm trying to dance around a little bit for privacy reasons. And one of those, of course, was he had kind of found his way into the martial arts, but didn't find his way to continue, despite recognizing his passion and talent there in the martial arts. And those of us around him, that professionals that would take notice, were like, "Dude, you found the thing, and you haven't given it a fair shake," and you kind of feel like the right answer is going through somebody else's grasp. And if it had been my student, I would have said, "Look, have a seat. Here's a conversation. It's me talking, you listening." And that gets followed by me hoping that they had a positive impact from my words. As teachers, we often feel like we may have a right answer, and it's really only half the battle to have the right answer. You need to have somebody ready to hear it and then act on it. And so I wrote a letter to this student who's not a student of mine, and I sent it to them and their parent. And I thought, well, that's the best I can do. The reason I got wrapped into it is I had worked out with this student a few times, and we had a really nice rapport, a really good connection. And so my colleague, the teacher of this student, asked me, "Can you maybe say something or do something?" And I never quite had the opportunity to do anything in person. The opportunity didn't present itself. So I wrote the letter. Sometime after sending it to them, I posted the letter online, an edited version, so as not to include anything that violates privacy or too many details about the student, which somebody else might be able to infer who it is we're speaking of. And the reason I posted it is I realized, boy, this is kind of a letter to any student. So it's called Dear Student of Another Teacher. I say this to you because perhaps for me, it may be heard by you. It may be taken in. It may be accepted through these, my unsolicited words. You may grow. The answer to every question the martial artist might ask is practice. I look at a student who's not practicing, and they're presently physically in school. I have many questions, and the answer to each of those questions is practice. As a young person who has access to world-class talent, skill, curriculum, you have the opportunity to easily surpass your elder martial arts brothers and sisters. The only element that is definitely necessary in this endeavor is application of intent. That means get to class. Be fully in class when in class. Don't miss a class. Do your homework. Make yourself available to whatever the school and the teacher and the curriculum is offering. Over and over and over and over. You have before you the part of the equation that is not something you can create. It is what some would call the lucky part, the divine grace part, the random bit. You have found a great wellspring and exceptional talent and availability. The question is, will you tap it? The tapping it is the part that is entirely up to you. There are many ready and willing to tap such a spring, but they've not found its source. A young student like yourself should always ensure that in every instance, you are the first person to volunteer, take the punch, carry the bag, wash the floor, or help with a newcomer's needs. The elder students in every class should continually and forever struggle to measure up to you. Every class, every day, every instance, whatever the circumstance, whatever your mood, whatever and always. It is now that you give to your teacher. It is now that you give to your school. It is now that you give to your fellow students. It is now that you give to your art. It is now that you give to your lineage. One day, perhaps, you will have made them each robust enough to give to you. But this possible fruit-bearing is not and will never be why you give. You give for the sake of giving. You don't know what you're missing, but you are, luckily, in a position not to miss it. Love, Stephen. Thank you.